morning, beloveds. We are fast approaching the end of this book, which is good because this book just completely fell apart. So, all right. It is March 28th. Our title is There is a Power Within Me. The first quote is, "For lo, they that formeth the mountains," hang on. "For lo, it that formeth the mountains, and createth the wind, and declareth unto people what is their thought, that makes the morning darkness, and treadeth upon the high places of the earth. The presence, the God of hosts, is its name." And that is Amos 4:13. I think Amos's book is like 5 pages. It's very short. The Atman, the real self, is permanent, eternal, and therefore existence itself. Hindu philosophy. The great prophet Amos tells us the God of hosts is the name of the power that forms the mountains and creates the winds and declares its presence in the sanctuary of our own thought. This poetical description of spirit brings a sense of lightness, of peace, and of transcendent joy. They that seems to have lifted the load of the life in their declaration that the spirit treads upon the most high places of earth. This transcendent thought of God should ever be with us, and like Jesus, we should walk over the waves of human disturbance rather than being submerged by them. Again, our lesson tells us that the Atman, which means the real self, is eternal and permanent. Therefore, here the text swings into the profound observation that spirit exists within itself. This is a definite meaning in demonstration. Life does not depend upon something outside of itself, but immediately precipitates itself in our existence when we recognize it. Such recognition gives us the transcendent power. There is a subtle power within me. I am sustained, I am guided, I am guarded by divine spirit. I am kept in the way of peace and prosperity and joy. Every atom of my being is vibrant with life, alive with self-existence. Within me today sings a celestial song which exalts, and its echo is found in everything I do. If you hadn't figured it out by now, that's an Ernest Holmes reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this one particular line. Okay? Well, where is it? Okay. Life does not depend on something outside of itself, but immediately precipitates itself into our experience when we recognize it. Such recognition gives us the transcendent power. Okay, so precipitates is a chemistry word. And when it's generally used with solids and liquids. So when something precipitates in a liquid, it means it comes out of the liquid into solid form. Typically like minerals, did you ever grow salt crystals? Basically you had this liquid that you mixed up and you put it in some kind of container, and then you would watch the liquid evaporate and leave behind the salt crystals, and the salt crystals would grow. That's what precipitate means. Something coming out of liquid into solid form. So spirit precipitates itself into us, which is the fancy way of Ernest Holmes saying that spirit, the unseen realm, comes down into material form. It precipitates into material form. And then it stays in material form for a short period of time, and then is dissolved back into the unseen, into spirit. Everything in the material realm is either in coming into material form or going out of material form. It's the whole point of the circle V. And then with the circle around it, because everything is enclosed in it. We cannot fathom an infinite system. That's why we have the circle. It's like everything is contained within the system. And so what Ernest is saying is we are made by God, of God, for God. We are made of spirit, by spirit. Spirit is constantly coming into form as us, and also as the answers to our prayers. At which point we can go back to weeding our garden, because we are constantly praying. We are constantly being creative in our life. And frequently we are creating things that we don't want because we are misusing our imagination by dwelling on what we don't want. Which has been the lessons recently. It's the reminder that we pray without ceasing, because every thought has the potential to be creative. Not every thought is creative. But if a thought is wrapped in a whole lot of emotion, that's a creative thought. At which point it makes us want to go back and look at the thoughts where we get emotional. It's like, okay, is this what we want? And if it's not, then we need to redirect that emotion into what we do want. I have frequently said that anger is not the problem. It's the thoughts that we wrap anger around. Anger can absolutely be a potent power for change in this world. The question is, are we changing it in the way we want? So being angry about what we don't want doesn't do us any good. But being angry and demanding better change, that can be, the power is transcendent. Okay, so that's why that line is so important to me, about life precipitating, okay? Life does not depend on something outside of itself, because there is nothing outside of God. There's nothing outside of spirit. There's nothing outside of life. But immediately precipitates itself in our experience when we recognize it. So if every thought could potentially be creative, when we recognize the power that we have to change our own lives. And that's the thing. It's like, we're not scared of how powerless we are. We are scared about how powerful we are. And frequently it is easier to blame the situation than to recognize our power to change it. Therein lies the crutch, Life precipitates itself into our experience when we recognize that. When we recognize that we are made of spirit, by spirit, for spirit, we recognize the power that we have inherent within us to change our situation. Sometimes, one of the strengths of science of mind, we don't teach you what to believe. We teach you how. But one of the strengths of science of mind is that our goal is to help you recognize you have a choice. You have a choice. And sometimes the only choice you have, and we admit this, the only choice you have is how you feel about a situation. And then once you choose how you feel about the situation, then you can choose what you're going to do about it. And sometimes you choose to do nothing. And sometimes you choose to do nothing because it's not yours to do. So, and sometimes you choose to look at a situation and go, you know what? Not dealing with this anymore. I'm going to make a different choice. All right. Every thought has the potential to be creative. So, be aware of that. Be aware that it is a closed system, and life is constantly precipitating itself into, spirit is constantly precipitating itself into the material realm, and then taking itself right back out. All right. Oh, Ernest, you make me work for it, but this is why I do the work. So, all right. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to recognize the power within us, to recognize that that power is not coming from us, but coming through us. It is coming from an infinite source, and it is up to us to choose how we use it. When we make a choice, Spirit precipitates that choice into reality. So choose, and choose wisely, and choose often. Choose often. All right, beloveds. That is the mission today. Choose. Recognize the power within you. Recognize that it's coming, and it's extremely important to recognize that it is coming through you, not from you, because it is coming from an inexhaustible source. You may get tired, but when you are working on changing your life situation, plug into that infinite source and rest when you need to. All right. The other thing that I encourage you to do every day is a spiritual practice, doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. It looks as simple as taking a deep breath before you speak, and goes as far as taking the day off. Or maybe taking more time than that off, because maybe you do need a rest. But it is absolutely about self-care. It is absolutely about plugging into that source, the source of your own being, which is a source of infinite love, infinite kindness, infinite compassion. My goal in encouraging you to do it every day is to encourage you into a default setting of first response. No matter what happens, you can have a loving, kind, and compassionate response to whatever is happening. And sometimes the response is simply to acknowledge the situation and take yourself right back out of it. Okay? So, it is always helpful when you walk into messy situations to ask yourself, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? Emma says that no one comes to you that you can't help. Okay? But sometimes the way you help them is by saying no. And sometimes the way you help them is by saying yes. So, just because a person comes to you doesn't mean you have to fix them. It definitely doesn't mean you have to fix them. So be aware of that. It is love, kindness, compassion, self-care. And then the other part of it is make room for joy. Your life is a special occasion. As I have said multiple times already today, we are made by Spirit, of Spirit, for Spirit. One of the qualities of Spirit is joy. Make room for that. Your life is a special occasion. Do not save the good stuff. Make sure that you make time to go play, to go and enjoy your life, to do things that are fun, to do things that bring you joy. All right? I don't know what comes next, so I'm going to squeeze as much fun into this as possible. All right. So love, kindness, compassion. Practice, practice, practice. There's a reason why we're called practitioners. Because we practice on a regular basis. And make that well-worn path to the source of your own being. All right. I also encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. I do encourage you to drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. Your brain works better. I do encourage you to get early in your day bright light. Apparently it's gonna be mostly cloudy all week this week. So artificial light does count. It's called a circadian rhythm. It's about getting your hormones into their natural cycle. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. It's science. You can look it up. Like I said, big believer in self-care. That's part of it. And then, as I like to say, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. It's mostly an Ernest Holmes quote. Mostly. But it's a reminder that heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. And as once we learn to create it for ourselves, because in truth, we are the only ones who can do it for ourselves. We can take all the instruction from everybody else, but we have got to buckle down and do the work and create that heavenly state of mind, heavenly consciousness. But once we learn to do it once, we can do it again. It's a replicatable experience. And once we learn to do it for ourselves, heaven ceases to be a place and can become any place. And that is a superpower. And you can always take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. She's not called a master teacher for nothing. All right. Emma Curtis Hopkins. Look her up. She's pretty fantastic. All right. I think I'm at the social media part. Our Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I encourage you to check it out. There's usually pretty good content up there. I do try and curate. If I see something good that I think that will be positive and uplifting and helpful, I try and share it across all of the platforms that I do. So, yeah, please, go like, subscribe, share, do that kind of stuff. We want to get this message out there. You have the power within you, and you can do amazing things with it. All right. Forward march. Yes. I guess Creative Life. info@creativelife.org is our email. So you can get on the constant contact. The hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information that you want or the person that can help you get it. The website is creativelife.org. And there's a new feature on the website. When you click on the Sunday Talks, it'll take you right to our YouTube channel. So there are almost 250 videos up there. There's something for everybody. All right. And forward into yes, no, maybe. Here's where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a recognition day, a know who we are day, a recognizing that every thought can be creative, a heavenly day, a dance in the rain day. I don't think it's going to rain today. I could be wrong about that though. The weathermen frequently are. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. That is a reminder that you may be the only Bible somebody reads. Show them the God of your understanding. All right? Make sure you show them the God of your understanding. And if you are not sure who the God of your understanding is, well, there's your work to do. So remember that you are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a godling. All right? The fullness of the power resides at every point in existence. That means it can come through you too. All right. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself and know that you are loved. I will see you next time.